Hello, my fellow manifesting HBICs. My chosen way of manifestation is through embodiment. Embodying a chosen state of consciousness. I make a decision on who I want to be based off of what I'm manifesting, and I choose to embody. And often I get questions about states of consciousness. I would say the most popular question is, what do we do when we fall out of a state? Outside of the return to that state, make that conscious decision or feel your way back into that state. And then the other questions I hear are, people are frustrated with themselves because they fall out of the state and they are afraid of falling out of that state, or they think because they had an emotional reaction that immediately kicked them out of the state, blah, blah, blah. Having a mood is not necessarily a change in your state. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were boiling potatoes on the stove. And let's say you've got the stove on high. So those potatoes are boiling, right? The water is a splashing, bubbling over. And maybe some of that spills out of the pan and gets on the stove. And it makes a mess. And Lord knows it can be stinky when it's burning on that stove, right? And you get frustrated because you think, I'm going to clean that up now. Clean up that mess now. That'd be like saying, well, then I'm done cooking potatoes. Done. Over. No more boiled potatoes. Can't have it now. Not going to eat them because a little bit of water spilled out. Dinner's over, right? Kitchen closed. That's kind of what you're doing when you immediately believe you're out of the state because you had a mood. We're not going to throw the potatoes out. We're not going to decide that we have a medical emergency because a little water spilled out of our pan. What if you were on the throughway? We have throughways, I believe, in the United States. I know we do in New York. If you were on the throughway traveling to a vacation destination, and let's say as you're traveling, you need to pull over to use the bathroom or get something to eat. And let's say there's a long line to get into that bathroom or to get yourself something to eat, and you get frustrated because you just want to get back to your destination. You want to be traveling. And let's say that frustration, you declare, vacation's over. I'm not going anywhere then because this line is too long. I'm irritated. I must be out of the state. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? Are you going to not go on your vacation now because you had to wait in line to use the bathroom? Or you had to wait in line for your cheeseburger? No, you wouldn't. You would probably stay in the line, get your food, go to the bathroom, and then get back in your car and get back on that throughway and drive to your vacation destination. This is no different when we are embodying a chosen state of consciousness. It is no different. So when you declare yourself out of the state, yes, because you are source, right? And the whole point of your manifestation journey is to know yourself as source, or to return home to your true self. And your word, your chosen conscious word, is that same divine connection. So when you decide that you're out of the state because you too are the divine, well, then you're the one that brings you out of the state. You've made your authoritative decision as source. Well, I'm out of the state now. This is why I tell people as often as possible that you don't have to beat yourself up for having a bad day. You don't have to beat yourself up for having a spiral. You don't have to beat yourself up for having an emotion. You need to love yourself. You need to let those feelings and emotions flow, get them out, have the tears, and then return back to who you want to be and start deciding from that moment on that you're always on your destination. You're always going to where you want to be. Every single thing you're experiencing is moving and shaping and guiding you to your desire. Everything is, every moment, even your bad mood, even a spiral is a part of that journey. Please don't necessarily apply logic, especially if you're going to do it to beat yourself up about something. You are divine. You are all that is, the absolute, oneness, God, I am, universe, higher power, source energy, moonbeams, whatever you believe that divine imagination of yours is, your divine heart, your soul. We got all sorts of words, but all it means is you are one with all that is. And all of this manifestation stuff, you even having the desire to manifest, is really just to guide yourself back to knowing who you really are. And the desires, the manifestations, well, they're the sprinkles on top. They're the cherries on top. They're the extra fun. They're the gift. But you see, it was never a question whether you could have that. It was never a question of how good can you hold a steak, girl. It was never that. There is no outside source judging you, being angry with you, frustrated with you, threatening to take your desire away from you, or dangling a carrot in front of you to keep you moving. No. You're divine. Your desires are divine. And your desires, all of them, are in some way, shape, or form. Their purpose is for you to keep on that journey or on that evolution of knowing yourself as source. Not a dangling carrot that you're then not going to get your desire. No. The desires were already yours. This is why we say you're not really manifesting. You're not really creating. No, all you are doing is selecting, choosing from what is already created. Remember, creation is finished. So when we're worried that we're not going to get a manifestation because you were out of the state for 24 hours, we're being silly. We're being silly, and we're going back into separation. We are forgetting our true self, our true nature. This is never a question of whether we can have the thing that we are manifesting, because the answer is absolutely yes. You only want it because you're supposed to want it. It's a part of your journey to return home to self. The desire was always going to be yours. We spend so much time worrying about that, which I understand. I was a worrier too. For a long time, all I cared about was, how was I going to get my specific person? How was that going to bring in the best version of my person or the best version of my relationship? Not knowing that the whole time that desire was always going to be mine. But the journey was the evolution of myself, learning to know myself as the divine, as source, as the absolute, as God, whatever you want to call it, my I amness. So don't worry about your state. Just get busy getting your focus back to who you want to be, but most importantly, knowing who you really are as source.